Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to do a VR to Janaki over at Catomancy. She recently put out a video about her tarot origin story and is actually doing research. So she has a survey that you can actually answer. You can respond to the questions that she made because she is putting together all these answers for, I believe, her doctorate degree. It's been a little while since I've watched the video, so I apologize if I am incorrect. But I had some time, so I wanted to go ahead and do the VR to it. I did also do the survey. So Janaki, if you're watching and if that messes up your data, I'm really sorry, but I did do the virtual survey as soon as I saw your video, and now that I have time, I figured I would do a video response as well. So diving right into the first question, what kind of religious upbringing did you have? So I grew up Methodist, but as a kid I would go to church every week. But to be honest, I had no idea what the hell was happening. Like, I would go and I wouldn't pay attention and I'd sing the songs and hate it and just would go to like the kids' study group after. Looking back, I had no idea what the hell I was doing. I didn't realize that there were 3 different parts to God, like Father, Son, Holy Spirit. Had no idea. Basically, I was just the worst child ever and didn't pay attention in church. So, sorry, Mom. But, I mean, that was my childhood. And then I went to college and had a really hard time adjusting to being away from home and got really, really sad. And then I had some friends who were Christian and sort of invited me to a Bible study. So I would also, and that helped me feel less alone because there was something greater than me that loved me no matter what. So then I was Christian for a couple years. But I started to sort of see the negative aspects, like the financial part, like the tithes and all that, and just parts of it were starting to rub me the wrong way. So I sort of fizzled away from that. And then I found paganism I started in like 2018, like very early 2018. But that was also right around the time that we moved. So after our big move in 2018, I sort of let it slide. I let it go for a long time and then found it again in fall of 2020. So about 2.5 years later is when I found paganism. But I have been, I guess, pagan ever since. So since 2020, so about almost 2 years now. So a bit of a wild ride. But yeah, so that is the upbringing that I had. Question number 2, what was your first exposure to tarot and how did you get your first tarot deck? So sort of going back to when I first found paganism in early 2018, I actually saw the deck Ethereal Visions on Pinterest. This is the bag I have mine in. And I just saw pictures of it on Pinterest and thought it was beautiful and fell in love with it, but did not buy it because I knew that we were going to be moving at that point. But I did sort of start like Wiccan practices. So I found all my information about Wicca on Pinterest, to be honest, and I actually got a couple secondhand books, but didn't really do a huge deep dive just because, again, I knew we were moving, so I didn't want to like fully commit to this huge life change before another huge life change was happening. So I saw this deck online, thought it was pretty, didn't think much of it, but was doing like my nightly prayer to Moon Goddess. And I eventually found that Wicca was not right for me, just because I really do prefer having just a matron, a goddess deity, and I didn't really like feeling like I had to worship a male deity because of Christianity. Like, it just left a bad taste in my mouth. So I knew that Wicca wasn't necessarily right for me, but at the time I didn't know what else to do, like that there were other forms of like paganism. So I think that's another reason why I kind of let it go until 2020, is like it didn't really fit, but I didn't know what else there was. So yeah, so this tangent aside, Pinterest was my first exposure to this deck in early 2018. And then when I did sort of come back to paganism in 2020, I had never really forgotten this deck and ended up buying it. And yeah, I bought it. So that is Ethereal Visions by Matt Hughes. Question number 3. When did tarot become more important to you? And I might be paraphrasing some of these questions just because the wording was a little bit long just for me to write down everything. But when did tarot become really important for me? So after I really started reading in 2020, it helped me through a lot of really difficult times. I mean, we were in the peak of the pandemic. My grandmother had passed away, and I did not get the chance to go home and say goodbye. And that was really hard for me. So just sort of coping with that, but also a lot of negative self-emotions as well. Like, I had a lot of just self-doubt and honestly self-hate, and I was questioning myself. And so tarot really helped me sort of work through a lot of emotions that I don't think I would have faced otherwise. So it's been really important, and I know that is why this deck is so important to me, because not only was it my first one, helped me find my deity, but it also helped me through a really dark time when I was first learning tarot. So it was super important for me. Question number 4. When did you start reading tarot for others? Or if you don't read for others, have you thought about it? I don't currently read for others. If you count sometimes doing general readings on my Instagram, like, I do that, but I don't offer readings right now. I have thought about it. I've even started like an entire PDF with all the spreads that I've created and would offer, and like I've written the text like for the disclaimers and everything. Fear gets in the way for me a lot. I guess the fear of failure, and honestly any sort of new avenue that involves like me making money, it I guess freaks me out. Like, I always hesitate whenever I try to do anything new that would make me money. And I don't know, I think it's like I don't know, something that I have to work out. I think it's something to do like with taxes. Like, I'm always worried I'm going to do my taxes wrong, which sounds so stupid. Like, I should not let that get in the way, but I do. And I think it's also a fear of like, I haven't been reading long enough to offer readings for others. Even though I know that there's no like cut off, like, oh, after you read for X number of years, you can officially read for others. But I don't right now. I don't know if I ever will. Yeah, so that is definitely, and even like in my notes, I'm like, oh, ask people if you want me to offer readings, but I just don't think I'm there yet. I do like reading for people that I know. Like, I will read for my family, I will read for my friends if I have their permission and if they ask me for a reading, but something about reading for strangers, I just don't know if I'm quite there yet. So, I don't know. I think I want to solidify tarot reading for myself before I get to that point. But it's something that I've always been kind of going back and forth with, and I need to remind myself that I don't need to read for others to be a valid tarot reader. Question number 5, what qualities make you a good tarot reader? I have a really strong intuition, like really, really like spooky strong sometimes, and I definitely get it from my mom. She and I both have this thing where we will like have dreams and then they happen. Like my mom had a dream about 9/11, like before it happened. She had a dream that she was going to deliver me early, and she did. I've had dreams where like it's the weirdest things. Like, I don't think it's to the extent that my mom has, because my dreams are always very extreme, and then the real case scenario is like a very much lesser version of that. Like, I've had a dream about like song lyrics, and then years later they'll like be a famous song. I've had dreams about like a scene, and then months later I'll see it like in a TV commercial, like very specific like scenes that are not just like general. I've had a dream where I was like in middle school going through a hallway, and it was almost like a stampede of students, and then I like had a really bad like injury in my arm. And then a week later, I like remember looking down the hallway at school and it being busy, and then I got like scratched from a lead pencil in the same place. So like it was not to the extent of my dream, but the same thing happened. I also just have like those gut feelings all the time. Like I had one the day that we had a flat tire, and had I listened to myself, I would have not driven that route that day, and we wouldn't have gotten a flat tire. But I didn't listen to myself, and we got a flat tire. So like a bunch of like things like that. I have a really strong intuition, and that really helps me with readings, especially specific decks as well, like my Ethereal Visions and even my Carlotides deck. Like that deck in particular, I get like super strong intuitive hits from it. And so that's why I like to use that deck to read for others as well. So my intuition is pretty strong, and I get it from my mom. So I think that's pretty cool too. Last question. When did you get into TarotTube, and what is your relationship with tarot and social media? So I have watched TarotTube since I started learning tarot in 2020. I definitely can say that TarotTube led to some deck FOMO and these feelings of inadequacy and feeling like I had to have certain tarot decks to be a better reader, which is not the case. I also recorded a video for deck FOMO, so I'll leave that up if you guys want to check that out too. But I had to work through a lot of feelings about what makes a good tarot reader, the tarot reader that I want to be, and things like that. So I've been watching since 2020, but I joined in 2021, so I've been on TarotTube less than a year. But I do occasionally still need breaks because I do get FOMO. Excuse me. And I even get, to be honest, when I watch certain content, it does still make me feel inadequate. So I do still need to take breaks from TarotTube at sometimes, just because when it makes me feel bad about myself, I know that it's not good. So I do still take breaks when I need to, and I don't force myself to create content. I just create when I have the energy and want to. And if it fits the schedule that I've sort of given myself, then awesome. But if not, I'm not putting myself under too much pressure to create X number of videos in a certain amount of time. Because when it gets to that point, it just becomes unhealthy for me. So the whole point of tarot is that it's supposed to be fun. And when it becomes not fun, I need to take a break. So, interesting relationship with tarot too, but still trying to find that balance. So, yeah, so I guess that's my video for Janaki. Thank you guys for watching. I hope this was interesting to you guys. Definitely check out their original video and definitely do the survey or do a VR if you can. I think this is really, really cool. And the fact that it's going like towards a degree, like that's like towards research, I think that's really awesome. So thank you guys for watching. Feel free to leave your responses to the questions down below if you'd like to. Consider liking, subscribing, ring the bell, all that good stuff. My links are down below. But before you guys go, please remember, you matter, you are loved, and you can make a difference.